Hello, Miss or Miss Educated at Home. My name is Raka, and I will be the first speaker of this debate. Now, for this motion that this House believes that scholarships should be granted on the basis of financial necessity, I will then first explain my setup first. So, right now, let me explain what's the definition of a scholarship. Scholarship is basically when the government relieves the issue of money from selected students so that they remove the barriers of education itself. So that these people doesn't have to worry about money at all. Now, what's the task for today, ladies and gentlemen? You see, right now, poverty has been a systemic problem where poor people doesn't have any chance to get a decent education, and this goal is impossible to break out except with our solution. So, what are our goals in this motion? Our goal is we want to create a scholarship graduate that not only succeeds in social mobility, but also to be to be a representative of these poor people itself. Now, so what's our solution to this problem? So what we can do right now is to create our solution is that we will still have the selection for scholarships, but then we will strictly base the criteria for these poor people. However, we'll put in a test so that we can know whether or not they will be worthy, or whether they will be serious or not to deserve this scholarship that they got from the government. And then when they do get the scholarship, what we aim is to get them into these good institutions where they have access to multitudes of people, resulting in good networking, and the most important thing is upon graduation, a secure job for their future. All right, we'll move on to my arguments. But first of all, I have to tell you the urgency of this problem. You see, I need to tell you how severe this poverty is. You see, poverty isn't just an issue where poor people look for money. It's literally everything that's wrong. Why? Because let me explain you that one of the many hurdles of poor people is that they don't have a chance to get a decent education in the first place. What does this mean, gentlemen? So you see, these people doesn't have a chance to enter good schools. All right, so they are forced to enter these schools that is built by the government. But even so, they don't have a good chance. The schools aren't that good. The facilities are not that good. The toilets aren't that well maintained. The classboards are very old, and the teachers aren't paid well to do so that they have the quality of those who are in the private schools or good government schools. What does this mean? This means that these poor people will be eternally locked in a bad education. So why does bad education matter in this place? We think that it's very unfair for these poor people to have a different start from the privileged people. More on this later on. But then, just like I said, poverty is very severe, and not to mention that the fact that if you're poor, you're very lucky to just go to a job that your parents did. For example, if your parents did construction, you probably land on the same job, or maybe your mother is a sex worker, and that's a very sad reality. We want to change that, and so let's move on to my next argument, which is that there is a different head start between these poor people and privileged people. We need to explain that these privileged people, all right, they have good education, they have access to good school books, to good teachers, good resources, and most importantly, they have also good additional courses and less. What does this mean? This means that they have the opportunity to make their intelligence even further than the poor people. These poor people doesn't have any chance at all, I'm telling you. Nothing similar at all. Because all these things require money, and these poor people doesn't have any access to it. So even if these poor people have their access to these resources, even though the probability is very low, they still have to think about feeding their family, because most of the time these poor people has to work. Every member of the family has to work. So the luxuries of these privileged people are very, very privileged. So more of a reason of why we should give scholarships to these poor people. They often might say that, okay, but shouldn't the smart and privileged people get, a chance? That's true, but we need to remember that in this case, the poor people has a much more incentive, much more reason to do this, to accept the scholarships rather than the privileged one. What does this mean? When you think about it, these privileged people only care about getting education because they want to, because they can. Their parents want them to go, and that's it. Well, the poor people have a very much serious reason, and that is they need to work. They need to get a good job. If they don't, they fail. They'll just end up at their parents. Their whole years of training is over. And over. And also, if they fail to feed the family, then why go all that pain of years when they can just go into their regular poor job? This means that these poor people has a much higher obligation, a much higher reason than these privileged people, hence why. And the second reason that I want to give is about how social mobility can profit the poor people as a representative. So what we aim to have is that these scholarship graduates that from poor people, they can act as an inspiration and as a helping hand. You see, these poor people realizes that this school cannot be broken, but once if this motion succeeds, what will happen is that these poor people realizes that, oh, I can break out from this hell by using scholarships. They will look at these graduates and think and become motivates themselves. They want to join this scholarship, and this cycle perpetuates even more. This is a very good cycle because once it's going, it's not going to stop. And moreover, it's a motivation, and as a motivation, it also acts as a take and give from the community. For example, the scholarship graduate can tell the people, what's the hurdle, what's the key to success and stuff. And so what this happen is not only this will benefit the poor community itself, it will profit the graduate and also society itself, because if we help the poor people, means more more money will be rolling in the economy. So it's a win for everyone. So what will happen in the future, if you might say? Because of these two arguments, I believe that this would envision these poor people to having a representative in the world, to say to the poor community and to uplift their community so that they are able to access good education and get along with good networking, such as get a good partner in business when they graduate through scholarship, so they can compete equally with those who are born lucky to wealth and able to get education. Hence why we believe that scholarships should be given to that scholarships should be granted on the basis of financial necessity. So from me, thank you very much.